I've spent more than 10% of my entire life at this point doing game development, and more than half of it at this point has been done full time. And we often joke about the fact that, hey, my eye bags are big enough that they can start wearing their own signature white t-shirt, but I'm tired. And it's a very simple video, I guess. I just want to talk a bit about it and maybe get some of your thoughts. I'm not going to just whine here. I also don't want to do that. I'm going to be giving you some actionable plans. Some things are going to probably be changing. Some things are going to stay the same. Don't worry, the YouTube is not going to change a lot normally. But I just want to talk a bit about the entire thing here, because this is part of the experience as well. Doing the game dev, doing this YouTube, like running your own business at the end of the day. Not all sunshine and rainbows, especially when you do it for so long. Things will happen. And I think it's just been a while since I've sat down and talked about it. So where does this start? What is like my barometer for how much energy do I have? And when did I figure out that, hey, things aren't going that well? And I think the first point here that I can always tell how good am I doing is my YouTube backlog, where, okay, you guys see me a lot on YouTube. I don't just do YouTube, but I do a lot of YouTube. I'll talk about that later as well, like a bit more in depth. Where for the past one and a half months, I've been struggling with doing these 2 uploads a week, basically. And I'm not going to drop them, because the 2 uploads a week, I think, are crucial and they're critical and they're part of the fact that we can keep growing. But this is kind of new for me, because I've had ups and downs, of course, with the YouTube stuff. But sometimes I get like the ideas, I have the energy, and I can just knock out 5 videos in a day. And like my throat hurts at the end of it, but I'm like, yes, I've done a lot. But it's been a lot harder now. And combine that with the fact that, hey, we started 2 new games. The amount of work that I've been doing on those 2 games also is embarrassingly low, if you ask me, because of some of my priorities, I guess, and YouTube still being, in my opinion, probably the most important thing for me, because my face is the moneymaker for ByteMe, has made me realize that, okay, am I not having as much fun anymore? I don't think that's it. It's just that I'm actually literally tired, and not sick and tired of this, but just not having the energy to keep doing this. Once again, I sound so dramatic. I am going to keep doing this. I'm not going to announce our retirement here. But that's kind of what I wanted to go for. And that's when I realized, like, okay, suddenly for the past month, I've always had only like 1 video in the pipeline. Like, it's very much, I'm not happy with it. The quality of the videos, I think, suffers a bit from it. Although, like, view-wise, not much has changed. We've actually been doing better again lately, where I am usually pumping these videos out in a 24-hour period, where like I have no energy to make the video. And then suddenly it's like, fuck, it's Tuesday morning, video needs to go out tonight. Let me just record something. And you guys don't notice this behind the scenes, but it is absolutely miserable for me to have to crunch those video edits in like a single day. And it's not even that I don't have any ideas. It's not like, oh, I've talked about everything that I can possibly talk about, because I have like 8 video scripts, which is about a month of content almost, pretty much not ready, but like planned out. But then I'm just not happy with like the final quality of the scripts, and I'm just like not like, oh, I don't want to do this, or I'm literally like not even like in the mood to record these videos. I know, first world problems, right? But that's kind of when I started looking at, okay, this is not just a 1-week thing, but actually more of a almost like systematic fault, where, okay, if I have this same problem week after week after week, and I tell myself like, hey, I'm going to do better next week. I have these scripts. I'm going to record a bunch of videos at the same time and then edit them out, and then have like the 2 weeks of, because that's also how I do my game dev. Usually my peak was like, I spend like a few days, like 2-3 days usually, recording these videos, editing the videos, and then schedule them out for 2 weeks in advance. And then I had a week basically to full-time just focus on the games, and I didn't have to worry about YouTube again. That was a good balance. But because I now don't have the energy to do YouTube anymore, I can't afford spending time on the games. Also, the games I also don't have energy for, so it's not like, oh, I'm putting too much value into YouTube. Even if I were to stop doing the YouTube videos, I honestly generally don't think there would be much of an improvement game-wise either. And that's kind of what made me realize, like, okay, something's wrong here. Part of it is definitely my fault, and the fact that I still do everything myself as well. Like, something that a lot of YouTubers often say is like, oh, one of the first things you should outsource is your editing. But the problem is our videos don't make enough money to make me justify that editing. And I know if you're an editor right now, don't cold email me. I get so many cold emails. The style of edits also, I'm just often not happy with. And honestly, the editing isn't even a big problem. Once I have the video footage, getting this footage, the A-roll shot of me talking, is honestly the hardest part. A-roll editing, it's like, I can go through that. It's not a big issue. It takes some time, but I can do that. It's just the entire process, basically. And so far, I only talked about 2 things, like making games and then making videos about making the games. But there's actually way more that I do. And I think I'm reaching the point where I'm juggling around simply too many things. I do not want to knock Thomas or William. They work fucking hard as well. The difference is they focus on one thing. The thing that I've always told them is, look, you guys just focus on making the games. I'll take care of everything else. I'll do the business. I'll do the YouTube. I'll make sure that we have money, that we can like earn something. Just focus on making the games and hopefully it'll pay off. And now with Unicycle Pizza Time, it kind of has. We've had some good months recently because of Unicycle Pizza Time. But before then, I was pulling in literally 95% of the entire company's earnings was from my face on YouTube, and then like all of the derivatives like Patreon and things like that. But it's also things then like the accounting. Like I just spent like a day basically. We have an accountant, but even if you have an accountant, they don't just magically do everything for you. You still need to create the invoicing. You still need to submit all the documents, put in all of your earnings. Turns out Belgian like accounting law does not really like the concept of donations from live streaming and things like that, and like how you have to quantify all of it. Those things take so much time and effort that it's like, oh, I don't want to do this, but you can't even outsource it if you really wanted to. And then, of course, things like my lovely patrons and the people that I give like the coaching to, it's like really good money. But the problem is also it always kills time. I'm now spending about like 8 hours a week almost on it, which is good because it earns us more. But also, once again, it breaks up that flow. I have so much more things that I need to deal with, that I need to switch between tasks. And then I also have Thomas and William, who are also coming to me and they're like, hey, Marnix, we need textures, we need assets, we need a store page, we need your design vision, you need a level. And all of that stacking on top of each other is kind of becoming a problem, because right now I have a backlog and I feel guilty for it, where I basically haven't opened certain games that we're working on for over a week. And it's like, that shouldn't be the case. The problem is that at the end of the day, like me looking and doing a level design is not going to be as like important on the list of things to do versus, oh, my accounting needs to be done in 3 days because that's when like the tax quarter closes, or I need to make sure that today's video is actually still recorded. And that's kind of the problem I had as well, where the last like 2 months basically, I feel like I've just been doing just-in-time game dev and YouTube and doing the entire business. I've lost the energy to be able to work forward, and then you get into that spiral where, oh, I suddenly have to crunch out a video in 1 day, and then it's like, great, now I want to die the next day. But it's like, no, you gotta keep going because things don't disappear. And that's often where people are like, oh, Marnix, you look so tired, you should just take a break. The problem is that is advice that works if you are salaried and working at a company. That is not advice that works in our case, where you are the company basically, where you are responsible for making everything work. I can take a break. I just did a 2-day like mini vacation, and even then I still worked a bit. And it's like, cool. 1, work keeps going on. 2, if I wanted to take a break, I still need to have the video scheduled and all of that. 3, the work like piles up, so now suddenly I come back the day after my break, and it's like, yeah, now you have 4 hours of meetings again. And it's like, fuck me, I didn't want to do that. I could have just not taken the break and not been like the next few days been super busy, which once again makes you even more tired, and it all just stacks up. So don't be the guy who goes to the comments just to write like, oh, just take a break, Marnix, because realistically that's not going to be how you solve this, and that's not going to solve anything. And then even then, honestly, like taking those vacations doesn't really energize me that much, like, because probably I'm not doing it for long enough. But I also can't justify not working for a month or whatever trying to recover, because the algorithm would absolutely destroy the fuck out of me and our games would stop for a month basically development wise. It just wouldn't make sense to not do that. Also, I don't think I could not do anything for a month. I would probably be miserable, even though, yeah, does it sound tempting? Sometimes, but it's not realistic. And then one final thing that's, I think, a bit detrimental, and something that you'll probably get used to if you're like, you have a bigger audience. Like the advantage of being a game dev that has a failed game with 4 reviews is at the end of the day, it's just you. And yeah, you can be like, oh, my game should have been better. The difference is if you get thousands of people watching your videos or playing your game and things like that, suddenly you get some, well, kind of shit comments. And I grew up playing Black Ops 2 lobbies where everyone was flinging around slurs and how they were gonna fuck my mom. I thought I had a pretty big tolerance, but when suddenly you have those lovely guys over at 4chan who basically every week start talking about how I should kill myself, it gets hard. And it's not just 4chan, it's YouTube comments as well now. You guys have been very civil for a very long time, but I think also last 2-3 months, it's gotten a lot more toxic. I talked about it also on one of the live streams once, where I've actually started to have to moderate like our own comments, because some of the stuff in here is just so brain dead and so not good. And that also takes a lot of energy. Even though like Unicycle Pizza Time is a positively like reviewed game, but even then, because so many people play it now, some people are still part of that vocal minority where they do tell you to go kill yourself, to be that you're a horrible developer and all of that. And one of my jobs, I think, also has always been to shield Thomas and William, the other two people of our company. Like, I want to be the wall for them because they probably also wouldn't deal well with them. And I've always been like, okay, I'll go in front of you. It's starting to weigh on me as well. Am I going to change a lot there? No, because on the other hand, my lovely 4chaners, I'm going to pull you guys up again. You probably give the realest feedback. If I'm like, hey, do these videos perform well? Yes or no? Well, the people who hate you, they will not be like scared to give you the true opinion. They're not going to give you the like, oh yes, it was a good video and things like that. No, they've given me good feedback as well. Okay, they don't know it, but some of the stuff they write is good as well. So I don't think like, oh, you can just close off that part. It's not like, oh, stop cyberbullying, just turn off the computer. That's not how it works. It's part of my job to be there. But once again, it's one of those things that probably evolved faster than I could have dealt with, or like it happened faster than I could evolve to deal with it. Humans are not meant to like speak to more than 100 people, for example. So what am I actually going to do? What is my top 10 tips to myself basically on how am I going to help this out? First off, once again, I don't think I should change anything on the YouTube side. Like maybe you're one of the people who's like, oh, you can cut back the upload rate and things like that. No, because if I was only going to upload one video a week, the quality would not improve enough to make it worth it. I would probably still have the same problems now, and it's just not worth it. I'm gonna stick to the 2 videos a week because that's the thing that keeps me sane. Also, remember, bonus video every Monday on Patreon. That's also not going away. That is staying the same. That is the one thing that is never changing, basically. One thing that I do feel like I have to do, and that I talked about a little bit already with the boys, is I need to step away a bit from the production of the games, I guess is the best way to say it. Where Unicycle Pizza Time, I was very, very, very involved with that. I was like crunching 16-hour days on that game. It was me and Thomas, and we just worked the shit out of it. The problem is, I think it kind of broke me. After Unicycle Pizza Time, I've never been able to enjoy game dev to the same degree. I've never been able to like look at Unity the same way. Maybe I have PTSD from listening to the same music, but now we're working on the 2 other games. Like I said, there's no Steam pages yet, but I'll throw up some footage if you want. And before it was kind of like, okay, Thomas and William, they're the programmers, and then they deferred to me for more of the gameplay mechanic stuff, but I just can't deal with it anymore. I need to hope that by now they've grown enough to have an idea of themselves as well of, hey, these are things I can do myself. These are things that I don't need to ask Marnix's opinion on for everything, because those things kill me as well. And I've told them this before of like, I really can't be bothered to choose a texture for some specific thing. Like I definitely have some problems with that as well, because one of my vices personally is that like I have very much the mentality of if you want it to be done well, you have to do it yourself. And I've always been sticking to that. It's also why I want to edit these videos myself, because it's very hard for me to kind of be like, okay, whatever, you do it. I have to do it now. There is no way anymore that I can keep being involved with all of the games and the YouTube and the company and the Discord community and all of that. It's just not realistic. I am already basically working 7 days a week, 12 hours a day, or 8 to 12 hours a day. Yeah, it's a lot. So that is one thing that definitely I'm going to have to change with, and just let go a bit and help them still, of course, but I can't be like the executive decision maker for everything we're doing anymore. Then another thing that people often say, if you look at like top 10 things when you're burning out, is like try something fun. So that is something that I am going to be trying with the Bite Me Game Awards. If you have no idea what it is yet, we're hosting our own award, so yippee, this is something that I just wanted to do because of fun. And once again though, the problem is, it's extra time, it's extra effort, but at least I'm enjoying what I'm doing now, like setting up the little website and the Google Forms. If you don't know what it is, like I said, you can submit your own games released between November 20th, 2023 and November 20th, 2024. If they released, we have a whole bunch of awards. We'll be doing a live show, me and Thomas in our suits at the end of December, like highlighting our community. You can actually win a few prizes, nothing too crazy. But those are things that I kind of want to try out, have some more fun, differentiate myself a bit from the other game dev YouTubers, and also just do something with the community. The problem is, of course, that it's not something that you can do all the time. It's a one time a year thing, but I do want to experiment a bit with that of like, hey, how do these events work? Similar with live streaming in general is something that I do enjoy a lot. The only problem I have with the live streaming, honestly, is that like I don't always know what to live stream, because I can do my trailer reviews and I can do like general giving like Steam page reviews and giving advice on your Steam page and whatever. But it's like I don't want to do that every week, and that's kind of the only problem I have there. If I had like ideas for like seven streams a week, I would probably do 7 streams a week because I just enjoy it. The problem is, once again, can you sustain that? I don't know. So that is one thing. And then a final one, maybe also kind of, I don't know, let's strengthen the parasocial relationship, is the fact that I'm also going to have to look at like getting myself checked out, because I'm reaching the point now where I just feel very tired all the time, despite having a good diet, despite having plenty of exercise, plenty of sunlight, tanning my balls like humor says, and all of that. And still I feel extremely tired throughout the day. I get enough sleep, and I think like maybe there is something more going on there. And definitely physical health is something that I do want to get checked out pretty soon, because I think it's getting worrisome. That was it. So that is one more thing on a personal note that I probably have to check out, because something doesn't add up. I feel like a 60-year-old man, even though I'm 24, and I think that's just not good. Like I can sleep 10 hours or 8 hours. I get my 8 hours of sleep easily every night, because it's like I can't compromise on this. And still throughout the day, I have basically no energy. So maybe that is one of the things in there as well. If you have any experience with that, leave a comment down below, because I'm young. I didn't expect to be having that problem at age 24. What can I say? So that's kind of a bit of an update on my life, I guess, on game dev, I guess. Of course, like I said, we're going to keep making these videos. I've got plenty of ideas. Do I have writer's block? I don't think it's like writer's block. It's more of the getting the first 80% done is like the thing that I can do easily, but it's like the 20% that is like there's a very big hurdle for some reason, because it's like I don't feel like it. I'm too tired. I just want to nap. So we'll see how it goes. I hope that in like half a year I can make an update video on this of like, I was tired, here's how I fixed it. But we'll see how that one goes. Anyways, I hope this was still an interesting video. It's very different than what I normally do, because guess what? Being tired and running our own studio and not always being sunshine and rainbows is part of the experience as well. So if this is relatable to you, honestly, leave a comment down below. Make me feel like I'm not alone. I'm very curious about what your guys' experience with this is, because honestly, most of you are a lot older than me and probably have more life experience as well. So thank you very much for watching. We'll go back to regular game dev videos next Friday. So thank you very much for watching this, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye!